Hello everyone, Anthony again back here in another video. Today I'm going to be doing a video. It's a little bit different than what I normally do. I normally do pack openings and stuff like that. But I've been asked quite often what is my opinions on grading services in general and my thoughts on the various ones that are out there. Today I'm going to do kind of going over the three main grading companies, SGC, PSA, and BGS. My personal opinions on them. I'm going to rate them off 5 subcategories, and I'll go over those 5 subcategories here in a minute. But this is my personal opinion, so let me preface that by saying this is no fact in this. This is my personal opinion, so don't get upset if you don't agree with me. It's my personal opinion on the 3 graded services, and we can have that conversation. Let me know your thoughts and opinions on this. It's starting to become more and more as a hobby starting to grow. Big boom here recently, so I want to kind of go over my personal opinions of that, and let me know your thoughts. Let's get into it. Alright, as you can see here, I have 3 cards, all from SGC, PSA, and BGS. These are all going to be the top of the line when it comes to each one of those. SGC being a gold label is their pristine card. PSA doesn't have a pristine, they just have a Gem Mint 10. It's a gem card. And then the Beckett has the pristine black label. So I'm going to use all 3 of those categories and kind of go over those. I'm going to start with slab design, review that, and we'll go down through each one of the categories and let me know your thoughts. Okay? So the first subcategory I spoke about was slab design. So looking at slabs, to me, I'm just looking at eye appeal, what kind of pops out, what looks the best to me. How they stack with each other, and that's what I'm looking at when it comes to the design of the slab itself. So, number 1 for me is going to be SGC. The black border really makes the card kind of pop out. To me, this just looks the best. They stack really well. I do like SGC when it comes to the overall slab. I do think they are the best. Second to me is going to be the PSA, and as you can see, the case itself is pretty simple, pretty thin. They stack really well. I do like the way it looks. I just think the SGC looks a little better with that black border. So to me, PSA would be second. And then third would be the BGS. So they are pretty thick. They do stack, but just not as well as SGC and PSA when you're stacking cards or slabs. To me, it just, I don't know, it just doesn't appeal as much as the other 2 does. So that's my opinions on the slab design itself. The next would be the labels. All right, so one big aspect of the way it appeals to the eye is the label. So looking at the labels, I would rate BGS as the best label. And one of the best thing I like about the BGS labels is going to be up here in these 4 subcategories. So when you're looking at a card to get graded, you're looking at centering, edges, corners, and surface. The other 2 companies don't outline what each one of those grades are. So when you send a card in, assuming it may be a 10, comes back as a 9. Well, if you're looking at it from a 9 standpoint, you don't really know why you got a 9 for. You have to look it over and hope to find it. Sometimes you don't even find it. I've sent in quite a few cards I've got back, and you get a lower grade on it than what you thought. And you just don't know why you got that grade so low. However, looking at it with a BGS standpoint, these 4 subcategories, you can go directly to that and be able to tell. Alright, so that's my personal opinions on the labels for the BGS. Now, when it comes to PSA, I think they are second. It's very simple. I like the design of the PSA labels. I just think BGS looks better, especially having the 4 subcategories listed. And then SGC is a distant third. So the gold looks kind of cool when you get a gold label, a pristine card, but the design itself is just, I don't know, it doesn't appeal when it comes to looking at designs. And now looking at this card, the card itself is a PSA 10 pristine, all right, meaning it is a perfect card. You look at the label on this is not even centered. So you got a pristine card with an off-center label. So it just got to work on the label. Slab looks great. Label looks meh. If you can put that in words, meh. All right, so Next is going to be price. Price meaning when you go to send a card in and get graded, how much it costs to get a card graded. So there's variables that go into that, depending on the number you send in, number of cards you send in, the price of the card, the value of the card, the return time. We're going to take the cheapest version of each one of these and kind of go that route, and but it does go up from there pretty significantly, depending on turnaround times and card values. All right, we'll start with the SGC. SGC is going to be your cheaper route. Cards up to $200, about $10 to get graded. So they're pretty cheap when it comes to grading services. Of the three, SGC is the cheaper. It is about $10 to get a card graded. Up to $200. After $200, the price starts going up. Now, when it comes to PSA, on average, you're looking at, depending on the year of the card, the newer stuff is about $15. If you send in a bulk order, I think they just changed the bulk order to 20 cards. It used to be a lot more than that, but I think a bulk order now is 20 cards, and you can get that graded for about $15 for the newer stuff. And so not too bad, but the card value has to be less than $100. Once it goes over $100, that goes up tremendously. So keep that in mind too as well. So from a pricing standpoint, I would say PSA is probably number 2 when it comes to pricing, and then BGS number 3. I've not seen anything in with BGS, but doing some research and talking to some other folks, it's about $20 a card to get graded. They may have some bulk submissions you can do, but I'd say they're probably third when it comes to grading. When it comes to pricing. All right, so the next subcategory is resale. Resale value is basically I get a card back and I want to sell it on the open market through eBay or whatever it may be. All right, so when it comes to resale in the open market, my slabs, eBay, some more stuff that you can go through when it comes to reselling. But basically, what I'm looking at is overall value. If I go to resell this card with this slab, what is my return on my investment? What's my ROI? So when it comes to that, number 1 is going to be PSA. PSA on average has the best resale values when it comes to cards. They're the most known, the most popular. So PSA is pretty commonly, when it comes to overall value of a card, they're number 1 most of the time when it comes to resale. All right, and then the number 2 would be your BGS labels. Now I will cover a little variable in this in a minute, but number 2 would be BGS, and then number 3 would be SGC. However, there is one criteria on that kind of puts BGS above PSA, and that is black labels. Black labels are very hard to find, and the scarcity of the card, being a pristine, getting 10s in all 4 subcategories, is obviously it's pretty rare. So getting a pristine black label, that card is going to hold more value than any other card, including PSA or SGC. And but overall, for a normal average card, PSA is going to have the most resale value. SGC, even a gold label being a pristine, it's about the same value as a PSA 10. All right, even though it is a pristine card, it's still considered about the same as a gem mint card. So, about the same as a gem mint 10. Oh, if you get a gold label, a 10 is going to be a little bit less than a PSA. If you get just a regular SGC 10. All right, now is the one that everybody's talking about right now, what everybody's have a lot of heartburn about right now. So I went ahead and put this in the criteria because everybody has some kind of issue or concern with it, and that is turnaround. So turnaround meaning I submit a card in to get graded. How long it takes them to grade the card and send it back to you. So there's where some of the issues are at right now. It's where all the complaints are at, where everybody's upset about right now when it comes to grading services. So, had you asked this question 3 months ago, it would have been different than what it is now. But now there's been some variables that have taken place, and now it's switched up just a little bit. So, currently, right now, as far as turnaround goes, PSA is number 1. Now, they are still having some issues, especially orders that were submitted a long time ago, but from what I've been seeing, and hearing, some of the recent orders are taking about 45 to 60 days to come back, which is pretty good from a turnaround standpoint right now. Now, obviously, you're not paying for that. Usually, you're ordering a 20 or 30 day turnaround service and taking 45 to 60 days, sometimes a little bit longer. That's still not what you're looking for. But when it comes to turnaround right now, PSA is number one. It's still taking a while, but it is number one. When it comes to number two, I'd say SGC. SGC, what their issue was about 3 months ago, they were number one. Probably actually a little longer than that now, probably about 5 months ago now. They were number one when it comes to turnaround services. During the COVID pandemic, when it first happened, PSA, BGS both shut down. SGC stayed open. So they were getting cars, still working, and their turnaround was pretty good at the time. They weren't as big, as popular as PSA or SGC or BGS, so they were starting to do pretty well. However, because of that, everybody started stealing their cars to SGC, and they were not equipped to be able to handle that influx. And what has happened now, the turnaround times is taking anywhere from 90 to 120 days for orders to come in. My last two orders I submitted through SGC took roughly 75 days for two orders, one of 11 cards, one of 20 cards. My last order has been with SGC now. I submitted one back in July, and it's October, and I still about a month to 2 months out before it's even that comes back. It was a bulk order. It's 51 cards. It was a larger order, but it's still taking 2 to 3 times longer than what it should have taken. Now they have updated their criteria to I think a 10-day or a 45-day. But even that 45-day window is nowhere is even close to what it should be right now. And then BGS is they're not sure what the issue with BGS is right now, but folks are saying it's taking them 8 months to a year to get stuff turned back around from a BGS standpoint. Now they have faster services you can pay for, but when it comes to average turnaround, looking at the cheapest and slowest one, BGS it's taking forever for stuff to get back through BGS. Now that may change as people are starting to get back into work. They're starting to hire more, which is what's happening right now with PSA and SGC are starting to hire people, and PSA is working on a new process to try to improve this. So they are getting better. Hopefully over the next few months they improve this tremendously, but BGS still has some work to go when it comes to turnaround times. So those are my 5 categories that I looked at from a grading standpoint. And once again, these are my personal opinions, and they held no merit outside of this video. And but let me know your thoughts. What's your questions? What's your concerns? What's your personal opinions on the 3 graded services? Which one do you like the best? Oh, I should have covered that too as well. So when it comes to my personal opinion, which one to use? It depends on what you want to do. For me, if I want to flip a card, if I want to resell a card, I'm using PSA. That's, to me, if you want to take a card, buy the card based off using these 5 categories, I would use PSA if you're wanting to flip a card. However, if you're wanting to hold on to from a PC standpoint, if you want a PC card, I'm using SGC. From a personal standpoint, if I want my own PC collection, I like the way it looks. So I would like the way the slab looks, so I'm going SGC. So that's what I would choose. If I'm flipping the card, I'm using PSA. If I want to keep the card for my own personal collection, I'm using SGC. So that's my thoughts and my opinions. Hope you enjoyed it. Let me know your comments. If you like the video, please subscribe, hit that thumbs up, and we'll talk to you again next time. Thanks. Have a good day.